Cuba has been there for us. Now we need to be there for Cuba. As Cuba faces its worst economic crisis in history, now is the time for the people of the United States to reciprocate the decades of solidarity Cuba has shown us. Socialist Cuba has granted refuge to Assata Shakur for 4 decades. When the U.S. government began a vicious crackdown on Black revolutionary and socialist organizer Assata Shakur for her commitment to the struggle for Black liberation in the U.S., Assata fled to Socialist Cuba, which has granted her crucial protection since 1984. More than 200 U.S. medical students have graduated from the Latin American School of Medicine in Cuba. Under the leadership of Fidel Castro, Socialist Cuba, which recognizes education as a constitutional right, established the Latin American School of Medicine in 1999 to contribute to the training of primary healthcare physicians in diverse regions of the world. Tens of thousands of students from more than 100 countries have since graduated with medical degrees from ELAM completely free of charge. Socialist Cuba offered medical assistance in the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina. The U.S. refused it. Just days after the tragedy of Hurricane Katrina, Socialist Cuba offered to immediately dispatch more than 1,500 medical doctors with 37 tons of medical supplies to the devastated areas along the Gulf Coast. George Bush refused the assistance. At least 1,392 are reported to have as a result of Hurricane Katrina. Fidel Castro held a historic meeting with Malcolm X in Harlem. In 1960, New York City and much of the United States was engulfed by the struggles against racism, war, and poverty. While in New York City for the General Assembly of the United Nations, Cuban revolutionary leader Fidel Castro, who outlawed segregation following Cuba's revolution, met with Malcolm X in Harlem to ensure the world's attention would be drawn to the U.S.'s race problem. For the duration of Castro's Harlem stay, hundreds gathered to cheer him on daily. Socialist Cuba stood with the 2020 uprising against racism in the United States. As the United States erupted in protest in response to the police of George Floyd, national news networks in Cuba provided extensive coverage. Cuba's highest officials, including President Miguel Diaz-Canel, responded with a statement condemning the continued racial violence against Black Americans. Socialist Cuba has offered multiple critical medical treatments to U.S. patients. The U.S. has refused. Cuba, which provides universal health care to its citizens as a constitutional right, has developed numerous medical treatments that would be of massive benefit to Americans, including a vaccine for lung cancer patients and a treatment for diabetic foot ulcers that could reduce the risk of amputation. However, U.S. federal laws prevent Americans from accessing them. To share these slides or to find more like them, you can visit on Twitter, Party for Socialism and Liberation at PSL National, building the fight for a socialist future in the United States. Get involved. Solidarity, comrades.